New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez takes over as chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee from outgoing Chairman John Kerry. And tomorrow that committee finally gets its chance to question Hillary Clinton about Benghazi. Senator Menendez joins me now. Well, Mr. Chairman, congratulations and thanks very much for joining us today. Tell me about the Benghazi hearings. What do you want to hear from Secretary Clinton?
Well, Secretary Clinton had made a commitment to come before the committee 2 months ago. Once the Accountability Review Committee's recommendations came forth, they came forth right before she got ill, and she's honoring her commitment coming forth tomorrow. And I think basically from my perspective, this is about building upon the review board's recommendations, which the Secretary and the Department of State have fully accepted. Where are we at in that implementation process? What are the keys that we learned from Benghazi? How do we translate that into making sure that our diplomatic corps across the globe, particularly in highly risky places in the world, can be as safe as possible? So I'm looking at it as an opportunity to build upon the lessons learned as we approach a new Secretary of State in John Kerry, and what responsibility Congress has as well as the State Department.
What about her responsibility or the State Department's responsibility? There were warnings from Ambassador Stevens that security was not good in Benghazi. What about his request for help and the fact that the State Department did not provide more security?
Well, I think there's a incomplete story there. The reality is that, first of all, Ambassador Stevens made a clear determination to go to Benghazi. That's where the heart of the revolution was. It was a special mission. It wasn't a full consulate or an embassy. That is something that we have to learn from in the future if we're going to have such places in high-risk locations. What is the right security for such a location? I think also there's lessons to be learned about, while there was no specific threat as it relates to Benghazi, the reality is that we have to look at the overall environment in a country to determine what is the risk to our diplomatic corps. I think those are some of the lessons that the Accountability Review Board came forth with, and it is lessons that I think the department has taken to heart. It's also about what are we willing to do in Congress to make sure that these posts in high-risk countries are brought up to standards so that we can protect our diplomatic corps as they still engage in robust diplomacy. You know, we have over 24 such locations across the world that have already been determined to be at high risk, and yet we only, under the present resources, we only are able to take about 3 a year and bring them up to standards. Do we really want to wait 8 years and put our diplomatic corps in those countries at risk, or do we want to accelerate that process? Those are some of the questions that have to be pursued.
Senator Menendez, thank you very much. We'll all be watching tomorrow.